Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we take the board out in the snow and I tow my son in the sled. I think you guys will get a kick out of this. Wonder if it'd pull you without me on it.
Yeah, not into the tree, please. Under the snow. Oh no. Yep, here we go. Oh no. I was not expecting that to happen. How full of snow I am coming off the back.
You want to try and hold it?
Yeah. Break. I doubt it. GoPros are pretty sturdy. It might be super jittery, but it's worth it. It's totally worth it. So much snow coming off the back. Oh, my butt is so cold.
Yeah, we probably have enough footage. That was a lot of fun. For those of you that don't know, this is a project that I built over the last, I don't know, 7-8 months or so. And this 4x4 board. And it was designed specifically to pull my son or any other kids in the neighborhood in a sled in the snow. So I've ridden it in the summer and it runs just fine, but it was primarily designed for the snow. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the facets of the board. So this is just a brief overview of the board. There's my mini Model S hot rod project sitting there that you guys will be seeing more of that here soon. But for those of you that didn't watch the initial video on this board, I'll post a link at the end of this video that you can click on and watch the video of just the description of the board, all the technical aspects. Basically, simply put, it's a motor on the front and on the rear. A total of, I'd say roughly 16 horsepower or so under peak load. I've got lithium polymer batteries inside the center of the deck here. And those batteries, they are 24 volt and 40 amp hour batteries. It's got full suspension, front, rear. Differentials for both axles. It's got a torque limiter, which is a overload slipper clutch at each drive system, front and rear. Astroflight brushless motors. It's got a steering dampener. It's a lean steer vehicle, just a huge skateboard, but a lot of fun to use, just kind of to goof around. The main point to this board was to have huge pulling power. And to give you guys an idea of how much pulling power, yesterday, I was pulling my son for the first time in it, and this is what happened. This is 8-gauge fine strand wire. It melted the silicone and completely burned the wire in two. This was not an electrical short. This was just overcurrent. Basically, I had, oh, here's another part of the harness that had melted through. Basically, I had both motors. Basically, this board has two separate power systems. It's got a motor, a controller, and a battery for the front, a motor, a controller, and a battery for the rear. But those two completely separate power systems were joined at the center through one 8-gauge wire and connector, just for ease of use and easy to plug and unplug, and I don't know, it was simpler, easier to charge. And in the summer this was fine, but pulling my son in the snow and doing donuts with it floored for extended periods of time overloaded, and the board started smoking real bad. I thought I burned up one of the controllers or one of the battery packs, but turns out it was just the wiring. I did not snip these, nor did I yank on them. They just fell right out of the board and completely burned in half. So what I did is I went from a single 8-gauge positive and negative to supply both controllers to two, as well as two separate connectors. So now each motor and controller has its own separate 8-gauge power and ground, and then a separate connector per unit, but they join together so that both battery packs can balance to each other. Each drive unit can share the battery of the other. So it's now all one electrical system, but two separate 8-gauge and two separate XT90 connectors joining together. So it's a whole lot more durable. But yeah, that was quite something. So that was yesterday, and this morning I got up early to rewire it, and the video that you just saw was us testing out the board and to make sure that it would handle the load. And the wires, they were, I'd say, room temperature. So it's 34 degrees outside. The connectors were maybe 70 degrees. So they were warming up, but not getting super hot. So thanks for watching, guys. For those of you that are looking to buy a Tesla, feel free to use my referral code down in the description below. This has been a fun project, and I really appreciate all you guys watching my videos. And if you have any suggestions on cool things for me to try or an interesting project to build, by all means drop them in the comments, and I'll consider every one of them. Can't promise I'll do anything about it, but I'll at least consider the projects or suggestions. I'd love to try and tow my car with the board. I think it's got enough power to do it. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.